welcome back to the Payment Shed podcast, live from FTT Embedded Finance and Super Apps. This afternoon we are joined by Sarah Gorton, Financial Services Lead at Protect Group. Sarah, welcome to the podcast. Please can you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your career and your background and Protect Group.
Thank you. Okay, well, Financial Services Lead at Protect means we are targeting financial services. Protect Group traditionally has worked with merchants, but we recognise that financial services is a big space, from credit cards to payment processors, and we recognise that there was an opportunity to work with them.
That's very good.
Probably start off with the first question. So how does refund protection, as you call it, shift payment from being infrastructure to much more of a revenue driver?
Good question. So payment processors, it's a race to the bottom. It's become very commoditized. So this is an opportunity to actually turn something that we'd maybe call it like a dumb pipe, don't mean to insult, but a dumb pipe into something that becomes a revenue generator. So as I said, we've traditionally worked directly with merchants. Now for us, that means one integration, one merchant. Working with, say, a payment processor, one integration, and as long as they work with travel, ticketing, hospitality, then it becomes to many merchants. Now, for them, I think they get around 3 to 7 bits for actually processing. When you actually add a refund protection product on there, so embed it in the gateway, it comes to about 40 pence per 100 that they're actually making, as opposed to, say, 5 pence.
So is this then one of the early examples of embedded finance really helping to increase margins and not just enable transactions that we're seeing?
Yes, I mean, I think we tend to think of embedded finance as an embedded finance product in a non-financial area. This is a little bit about on its head. It's a finance product in the financial services, payment processors sector.
Yeah, so one of the interesting ideas that here is, of course, what you call the triple win for merchants, right? Can you break that down, and how much of that is about increasing conversion by reducing what you call booking anxiety after checkout?
Yeah, sure. I like to think it was the Holy Trinity. One is increasing conversion. There's a lot of market research about, I think it's something like 5 times multiple if you actually add or make your refund terms very clear. So being able to add refundable products onto non-refundable tickets, flights, hotel bookings actually can help reduce that booking anxiety. The other one is mitigation. So if I am sat there with a broken leg and I can no longer go, I might actually raise a chargeback, friendly fraud, give it a go. It's just a few buttons on my app. Now, because Protect Group have a refundable booking, we actually pay out on that. So if they've taken that out at the point of purchase, they'll come to us for a refund. So it totally avoids the whole chargeback scenario in the first place. It's not going to address the entire chargeback issue that's going on, but for those bookings that actually are in the right sectors, it will do.
It's interesting because I'm a die-hard train line user, right? I should probably go on GWR directly because they do cancel trains a lot and I get delay repay a lot quicker, but I just love the train line interface, always have. And they deployed embedded insurance maybe like 2 or 3 months ago. And interestingly, I think it must be going quite well for them because they've since amended their refund terms, which does make me now think more, £2.50, maybe I should click that because I think you can only get a refund 24 hours before. You can't get it on the day now. So if your travel plans are changing later, you're probably more incentivized with their new T&Cs now to click, I'll take the insurance, right?
Sure, and it's usually a small uplift on the ticket price. I mean, we work on a 10-10 rule, so 1 in 10 people buy. It's usually about a 10% uplift on the ticket price. So it depends on your appetite for risk. I mean, the other point is also because Protect Group are paying out, the merchant, if you can't go, that broken leg, so the merchant has already taken your money. We're not asking the merchant to refund, it's on us. And the merchant's also still got the asset. So if there's enough time, they can resell the tickets, they can resell the airline seat.
So is that an example of merchants turning a refund into a profit event ultimately. And I guess that's been really well received by your customers as well, because like you say, they're keeping the goods still, right? So it's free money.
They get the asset, they get, and then we obviously, when I've just said about the uplift on the ticket price, we share that revenue, and hopefully it reduces chargebacks as well, which, given the new regulations and directives coming in recently from both Visa and MasterCard, can only be a bit of a blessing.
Absolutely.
So I want to switch gear here a little bit. There's also been a lot of conversation about buy now, pay later and risk. And what is ghost debt and why does it matter?
Okay. So ghost debt, it might be our term, it might be a term that buy now, pay later use, but it's when you're buying a laptop or a pair of trainers or sneakers, if that's the right term, then you've got a product that can be returned, or it's usually got some kind of protection from the buy now, pay later organization. For the experience economy, i.e. the holiday, the tickets, it generally doesn't. So back to my broken leg scenario, maybe I've booked a holiday and I've made 5 out of 10 payments. I've paid 5, I still owe for the other 5, and I can't go. Now you just think about the ultimate buyer's remorse and the association with the brand identity. It's not a good fit.
Okay, interesting. And then how does embedded protection actually help both consumer and the lender in those scenarios then?
Okay, well, what we've done is gone, okay, we want to make both whole. So the 5 payments I've made, if I can no longer go for any of the emergency circumstances we deal with, which is very wide, is I get refunded my 5 payments. And depending on who's carrying the credit on it, whether it's the merchant or the buy now, pay later company, they get the remaining 5. So both the consumer and the organization is made whole. And it doesn't affect your credit rating.
Okay, that's important as well, yeah.
Absolutely. So looking forward, what does it mean to turn that transaction feed into something like, what you call a financial bodyguard?
Okay, this is another different application of refund protection. And this is, agentic commerce is the buzzword, right? And, Starling Bank have announced that they've done an agentic commerce agent to actually look at the right products and services. We've applied this in a bit of a different way, in the sense that you set the policy. So we don't want to spam anybody, but you are on your banking app and you said, remind me if I book concert tickets or flights to protect them. So it will just be a little pop-up in the way that some of the neobanks are doing so well, to go, hey, do you want to protect that booking? And it's as simple as that. So you set the rules, but it's just a body card to enable to catch those decisions.
And so it's interesting that you mentioned concerts, because reading the news in the last couple of weeks, the event space, particularly music festivals in the UK, is going through a really difficult period at the moment. Lots of cancellations. Actually, Kanye West stopped at the border, causing wireless to be cancelled for all the right reasons. But it's an interesting market from a payment provider point of view, because it's one where a lot of exposure does exist potentially to that acquirer. And I think having an overarching insurance product like yours allows them maybe to facilitate a better set of terms and conditions for those events companies in particular, because the biggest risk is the chargeback exposure. Well, if the refund of that event being cancelled is guaranteed through someone like yourselves, there's less ambiguity around the terms and conditions and what would otherwise warrant potentially a refund or event failure, right? So you're allowing possibly customers that would struggle to get a card payment facility particularly to actually get better terms and conditions from a payment company. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I think that is a fair statement. I mean, to be clear, we cover the individual and their emergency circumstances. It's not about, say, a concert being cancelled. There is insurance for that does that. It's about, and that was the original premise of how the company was founded. the guy that founded it, James, he was working in ticketing and realized that actually when I can't go, or all these people that wanted to cancel and weren't getting any refunds back, that was the idea and how he created the company. So yeah, it enables people that don't have the ability on a credit card to have some kind of recourse.
Yeah. And do you think we're moving towards a world then where protection is offered after the transaction has taken place, not just at the checkout?
Yeah, so we cover both. That becomes into the realms of insurance. So at the point of checkout, it upgrades a non-refundable ticket to refundable. That is not insurance. That is just an upgrade to merchant's terms. Post-checkout becomes, because it's a separate product, it's insurance. So the financial bodyguard, agentic commerce, that's an insured product. So it's slightly different. But they're both valid.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, interesting. And I think that, from a competitive landscape point of view, you guys are really, you found a real niche swim lane, right? Like not many companies are doing what you guys are doing. And I think, obviously at FTT today, it's interesting that you guys are in the room and obviously looking at the fintech environment, the payments environment, and how you can partner with brands in our industry. And I think this is where embedded finance in particular is bringing different industries together in a much greater way than we've ever seen before, which is brilliant. So
it's super. I mean, a few years ago, we wouldn't have considered it and nobody would have considered us. We've got quite a few integrations going through, sort of first people that are prepared to do first mover advantage. So it's exciting times, it really is.
Perfect. As a final part of the podcast, we have a topic called the shelf of shame. What is one thing in payments, buy now, pay later, or embedded finance that you have a little bit of an ick for, like that you want to put on that shelf and says, I actually don't want to deal with this anymore?
I think for me, naturally working in this, and maybe we've all suffered it, I don't see why the merchant should keep the money and the product and I don't get a refund. It's like things that are non-refundable should be a thing of the past. There should be at least an option to be able to upgrade on your own terms.
That's very topical. There's a particular brand on the high street that only do exchanges. They don't do refunds. It's part of their terms and conditions. So people can try and work that one out. But it really does grind my gears because I've given the product back. I might not want to buy anything else from your store, right? I don't need a store credit. I've just changed my mind. You've got the item back. So yeah, it is an irk for me as well. I'd be happy to put that on the shelf of shame 100%. And where can people get in touch with you? Where can they find out more about Protect?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. So please get in touch via LinkedIn. That's probably a good place to start, and always happy to have a conversation, see if it's a good fit.
Thank you.
Thanks
for joining us on the show today. Enjoy the rest of your event.